All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, Bradley Beal's kind of a strange player. In order to assess or evaluate him, that's going to take a three-dimensional level of inquisition, introspection, and investigation, and that'll be for another video for another day. But just from a two-dimensional perspective, he's a very strange player. He's almost too good for his own good. He's only around 6'3", but because of the numbers that he puts up, most teams are not going to want to move him from shooting guard to point guard, where probably due to his lack of stature, it would be better off for everyone involved. But because he's such a dynamic scorer, you kind of have to leave him at shooting guard. Now, in order for you to be a championship level team and have two guards that are both under 6'3" or around 6'3", you're going to have a tremendous defensive oriented team from all the other positions. Very much along the lines of the bad boy Pistons of the late 1980s, who had Isaiah Thomas, who was around 6 feet and a half, 6'1", and Joe Dumars, who was around 6'3" and a half. That would be one of the closer comps to this Washington Wizards team when it comes to how their team is distributed when it comes to stature. Now, when you compare them to many of the other good teams in the Eastern Conference, it's very difficult to analyze them because they were racked with COVID across the first quarter of the season. They were almost destroyed by COVID. A lot of their best players missed major time. They're getting healthy at the right moment. They're only 5 games under 500 as I'm making this video, and that's around 71 games into the season, so they have 1 game left. How they'll look next season, who knows, if they're able to get a major free agency acquisition. But once again, Bradley Beal is a very tough player to evaluate because he's reaching his prime right now. This is going to be his second straight season averaging over 30 points per game, which is very difficult to do even in this era. There are very few players who average over 30 points per game. Basically, in like the last 10 years, if we're going to talk about the players who've averaged over 30 PPG, you're talking about James Harden, Steph Curry, Bradley Beal. I mean, that's basically that. There's not too many other players who've done it that I could think of off the top of my head. Dame has never done it. Giannis has never done it. Joel might come close this season. Luka might come close in the next few years, but it's very difficult to average 30 PPG, even in an offensive era. So Bradley Beal is, he's a player to be reckoned with. And when you consider a lot of his proficiency numbers, it's not like he's averaging 31 and a half points per game and shooting 43% from the field like a James Harden. Like, the dude is shooting around 49% from the field. So the Washington Wizards, they better take this moment in time, which is Bradley Beal's prime, and take advantage of it or trade him. But either way, it would not surprise me if the NBA steps in and tries to reallocate Bradley to a team that fits better into their script, because I don't think that they're going to want his talent to come to waste. He recently sat down with the crew of First Take to discuss various topics, primarily one of them being his scoring title race with none other than Mr. Stephen Curry, as well as the little Twitter beef that he got into with Stephen Curry's sidekick, Kent Bazemore. So, of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in. Now, Bradley has had the misfortune of playing with two of the most supremely physically gifted but mentally inept point guards within the NBA in the last 10 years, that being none other than Mr. John Wall and Mr. Russell Westbrook. So kudos to Bradley for being able to grow his overall offensive repertoire and his basketball IQ despite playing with those two nut jobs.
Puts it up and in. Wow. He is feeling it right now. Spectacular by Bradley Beal. Beal with the rim, does get the look. Beal goes to the hoop and he's got it.
Once he gets 2 steps ahead of you, that's all she wrote.
He dropped 50 on Saturday. Heck.
This woman has the most annoying voice on television. Joy Taylor's a close second, but Molly Carum has the most annoying voice on TV.
Season individually and as a team, joining us now on First Take. And
there's going to be a huge influx of females trying to be play-by-play commentators in sporting events. When they see a lot of the ratings start to dip, especially for these team sports because they want to have chicks calling the games, then they'll figure out that there's a reason why not only men but men with baritone voices have always been known as the best sportscasters in the history of, that art form. Women just cannot do anything or everything, and there's a time and a place to hear a female's voice. You want to hear your female's voice when you're on the phone with her, particularly late at night. You don't want to hear her voice calling the fucking basketball game or the football game. That's madness.
All-star here on behalf of Hotels.com, Wizards point guard Bradley Beal. Bradley, good day to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, team. It's a pleasure to be here.
We got a lot to discuss with you. You're also entertaining me on Twitter, so that's where I want to start because I like a good little fake beef. So you went back and forth with Bazemore on Twitter about his comments about you and Steph battling for that scoring title. Congrats on that. What's your reaction to...
Congrats on what? He hasn't won shit.
More recently saying, Bradley, that he's just joking around. He said, we got guys hurting hamstrings trying to keep up. Talk to me.
Ken Bazemore should have stayed out of that shit. It's like, bro, no disrespect. The only reason why you're in the NBA is because you're friends with Stephen Curry. I don't consider Ken Bazemore a real NBA player. He's like borderline NBA player, and it's only because he has a lot of mileage in the league. But I promise you, they could probably find about 4 or 5 guys from the G League who could outplay Kent Bazemore.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the last part of the comment. The first half of it about what Steph was doing was, I'm with you. 49, 29 minutes is...
Well, brother, you don't have a choice but to be with him on that. That's a fact.
I think everybody in here can agree that that's remarkable and truly amazing, right? So nobody's arguing that. But I didn't mention you. My hamstrings have nothing to do with why I go out there and play the game.
I agree with you. Keep my name out of your shit. Like, bro, just talk about what your teammate is doing. Like, don't worry about me. I'm supposed to be competing with him for the scoring title. Don't make it look like I'm doing a bad thing by trying to win the scoring title. Every player who's within a half a point of the scoring title is going to try to win it.
And for me to injure my hamstring and then you kind of make a joke about it, I don't take that too fondly, honestly, because I take pride in being somebody who, my first 4 years, I was always labeled as an injury-prone guy. I was always labeled as somebody who couldn't stay on the floor. So I take pride in my body. I take pride in being on the floor and being available for my team and giving my team the best chance to win. My main focus is getting us to the playoffs, and that's all I'm focused on. And so that was just all I was just trying to kind of get my point across. So just keep your situation over there. Let's just keep it hoops. Don't make fun of something that's not funny.
Bradley, I know you answered like how it's more important for you to help your team win than to win the scoring title. But Russ got his triple-double locked up. Y'all are in the play-in tournament. You ain't getting back. It is what it is. You're going to have to play, too. Come on, you and Russ don't have any side convos like, all right, Russ, let me do my thing and see if I can get the scoring title over Steph Curry?
Honestly, no, Max, because nothing's changed. Nothing's changed for me. I've been doing the same thing. I've been playing the same way I've been playing the last 2-3 years. Nothing's...
Well, I'll give Bradley this much credit. He averaged over 30 points per game last year. He shot around 45.5% last year. This season, he's averaging 31.5 points per game and shooting almost 49%. So he's actually getting better as a player. He's in the midst of his prime. But for him to say that he doesn't want to win the scoring title, that's BS. I just think that he has to relent. He has a bad hamstring. Steph Curry is about a half point ahead of him. He would have to come out there and have back-to-back 45-point games, and Steph would probably have to have back-to-back 25-point games in order for him to win the scoring title outright. So I think that he's smart enough to know that's not worth risking right now with the injury that he has, especially if the Wizards have any type of aspirations of causing some drama, some commotion in the playoffs.
I feel like I've been putting up big numbers, but a lot of those numbers I've been taking L's. I've been, so now we're in a position where we're...
Now listen to what Bradley Beal said. He said, I've been putting up those big numbers, but in a lot of those games I've been catching L's. That just shows you how tremendous a player Michael Jordan was. And, a lot of people have a very difficult time understanding why so many people make such a big deal about Michael Jordan. You have to grasp, before he did what he did, no one had ever done that before. Prior to Michael Jordan in 1991, the last player to win a championship and lead the league in scoring was Kareem in 71, and that was at center. No guard in the history of the NBA, not Jerry West, not Oscar Robertson, not George Gervin, had ever been able to score that many points and actually be on a championship team, to be the leading scorer in that way. Jordan totally changed the paradigm of basketball play from 1990 onward in a very similar fashion to how Stephen Curry has changed it since 2014. So that's why they make such a big deal about Michael Jordan. He was going out there scoring over 30 points per game, shooting 50% from the field, and his team was winning anywhere from 55 to 72 games every season in the regular season, and they were winning the championship. And he was getting All-Star Game MVPs. So just to put it in proper perspective, when your guard averages 30 points per game or 31 points per game, normally it results in what we're seeing with the Wizards, them being circa 500. So outside of Jordan and James Harden, there have been very few guards who've been able to score to that degree in the regular season and win that many games. But then Jordan took it to a whole other level in the playoffs, which separates him from every other player who's ever played.
You know, we're playing some of the best basketball we've been playing all year, and at the right time. You know, so that's always been my main focus and priority. Russ is a machine. We all know that Russ is going to go out there and do
He really is a fucking machine. That nigga might be on that damn LeBron James, that super soldier serum.
Night in and night out. And my job is try to give us the best opportunity and chance to win. And my ability to score does that.
You might want to have that conversation. A scoring title over Steph Curry? Are you out of your mind?
I agree, though, to Max's point. That's for posterity. You know, guys always talk about they don't care about this. They don't care if they win this award and that scoring title and this defensive player of the year trophy. They care because they know down the line when they're retired, they'll be able to show their kids, look, your daddy won the NBA scoring title in 2021. I scored more points than anybody else. Or I was the best defensive player in the league in 2021. Or I won the All-Star Game MVP in 2021. That shit matters.
Your seating isn't going to change. He got his triple-double. It's your turn, brother. What's going on?
Wow. You never know what can happen in these last couple of games, Max. We might be able to 7, 8. You know, we might have some help from some other teams.
That's true. That's true. You could move up. That's true.
You never know.
You can still grab 8.
But I'm with you on that. It would be remarkable if we don't win that, but that wasn't a goal of mine at the beginning of the year.
Lies. Bro, you averaged over 30 points per game last year. You came into this season, basically like the first 40%, first half of the season, you were averaging 35 points per game. So don't talk about how you didn't have a goal to win the scoring title. You're lying.
So I'm not going to make it one now, but if that happens, it happens. I will be happy. I'm not going to sit here and be naive about it.
So, Brad, your teammate Russell Westbrook passes the Big O for most triple-doubles of all time. What was it like having a front-row seat to seeing him make history, and what has he meant to your team this season, especially what he's done in this second half?
Russ has been great for the Washington Wizards this year. I have to give him a lot of credit, man. That dude Westbrook, he's like a damn Terminator. You think he's dead, you think he's finished, and the motherfucker, he just keep on coming.
Well, I'll start with what he means to our team, man. He's, heart and soul, because it was always the misconception of Russ, and how he is as a teammate, how he is as a person, how he responds to coaches and things like that. And it's a total opposite. He's all about the team. He's all about winning. He's all about getting better. And he's all about pulling his teammates up and trying to get the best out of everybody. And I think that's something that's helped me this year, and seeing his mentality and his approach to the game night in and night out. He's an MVP. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, he has won an MVP, and he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Those are two facts. There's no doubt about that. It's just that it seems like you're trying to skew the conversation towards something that's not necessarily true.
And, now he holds the record for most triple-doubles in the league. And
that's a fact.
Sit there, share the floor with him, and then last night to witness that, it's been... I ask him, how does he do it? Because I see him banged up. I see him injured. I see him playing through all type of stuff. And, he's constantly putting up the numbers. He's constantly giving us chances to win. And, that's exemplary.
The Wizards, they probably asked Russell Westbrook a few days ago. They said, Russ, if it was a choice between you having the record for most triple-doubles or winning the championship, you pick winning the championship, wouldn't you? And Russ probably looked at them and said, y'all niggas tripping. I'm trying to get these triple doubles, nigga.
I take pride in that and his work ethic and his approach to the game, and it's just a trickle down effect to the rest of us.
Bradley, when the trade was made, it's like, oh, hold up. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal on the same team. I was sitting here saying that's an elite backcourt.
Yeah, on paper, that might be the best backcourt in the NBA. Just on paper. Of course, you have some other ones, but that's right there with any of them.
Well, Steph and Clay, what's the best backcourt going to be? Because there was no guarantee Kyrie and Harden would play well together, or that you two would, right? We have to wait to see how this would shake out. You knew Chris Paul and Devin Booker were going to fit. But how are you going to fit with Westbrook? How is Harden going to fit with Kyrie? Boy, you answered that question. But my question to you about both of you and your team's performance this year is, why did it take so long for Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook to figure out how to lead the team to wins together?
The Eastern Conference is much more talented than it's been in the past. And beyond that, they've had a lot of injury issues as well as that COVID-19 pandemic that really swept through the team.
I don't know, Max. I don't want to sit here and give you a list of excuses because we got a million. We can sit here and say COVID hit us. We can sit here and say Thomas Bryant was injured. At the beginning of the year, we didn't have him for the whole year. And dealt with injuries throughout the year. Didn't really have a full gel of team. We had 50 different lineups. We had brought guys up from the G, signed some two-way guys, signed some 10-day guys. So we have a list of excuses. And I'm not going to sit here and say those are the causes. So honestly, it was just a matter of us just clicking, and I couldn't really point to what it was. But once we won one game, it became 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and we just stuck to our guns. We didn't change what worked for us, and I think the biggest thing is we decided to start playing defense,
That always helps. You can have a team that's basically filled with G League players, but if you play top-notch defense throughout the season, I promise you that's going to give you 25 to 35 wins just from defense. Now, if you have average offense and you play great defense, you're probably going to be a 45 to 50 win team. If you have a great offense and a great defense, you're going to win 60-plus games, barring injury.
Defense underrated in the NBA right now.
It's always the same in the NBA. Yeah, we decided to start playing defense. We started winning. Look at that.
About that time.
So I guess it was just the right time. Right before the playoffs. Obviously, we wanted to give ourselves a chance. Coach Brooks actually broke it down right after All-Star break, and kind of broke them down in a series of 5s. Our game's a series of 5, and let's just approach it that way, and try to win each series, get 3 out of 5. And we've been doing that. We've averaged, I think it's like 3.3 wins or whatever it is. So we're putting ourselves in positions to win. So now it's just a matter of capitalizing.
No question. 2 things before we let you roll, real quick. The hamstring. Not making light of it over here. I want you to know that. When do we expect you back on the court?
Soon, hopefully. Okay. I know it's not too serious, which is a blessing, because I know how strenuous these injuries can be, and I know how scary, and you can easily tweak it again or possibly compensate on the other side. I've seen it all. I hear it all. So I'm definitely going to be a little cautious with it, but at the same time, I understand that playoffs are right here. So I'm definitely working my tail off to get back. I'll miss the game tomorrow here in Atlanta, but I'll be reevaluated on Friday, and we'll see where we go from there.
All right, and lastly, tell me what you're doing with Hotels.com.
Hotels.com and I have partnered back right before the All-Star break, right before the All-Star game, I'm sorry. And ever since then, we've came up with these discount ideas to share with fans, and I'll be dropping them over Twitter this week. It's Beal's Deal, is what it's called. So over some of my favorite locations over the city, we know that the world is starting to open back up. Everybody wants to travel and get back out and enjoy the summer. So it's just a way to be able to share some discounts for people to be able to travel and enjoy some hotel time and some leisure time. Yeah.
Bradley Beal will make a very good pitch man. He's a very eloquent speaker.
To get that, we all want to change the scenery after like
Stop fronting. Just go win the scoring title, Bradley Beal.
Listen.
Don't beat Steph Curry for the scoring title. Stop fronting. Come on, man.
It's not going to happen. Leave it alone, Max.
Curry in his prime, you're going to beat him for the scoring title?
Yeah, I'll be looking for Beal's Deal, too, next time I travel. Bradley, appreciate you. Get back out on the court.
Good luck.
We'll talk soon. So come on first.
But anyway, that's basically it on that, brothers. We'll see how things go for Mr. Bradley Beal. Once again, he's a player who's in a very precarious situation. just as an overall player, and also at this point in his career where he's pushing 30, I can see him pulling an Anthony Davis in the offseason and demanding a trade somewhere. I'm not quite sure if he'll be able to get to the Lakers, but it would not surprise me to see him, just playing it coy and playing it cool right now, but heading to upper management's department or into their offices and saying, look, I need to be moved somewhere because I'm pushing 30. I like playing with Russ, but we're not championship contenders. So where would he fit in? Well, he fit in well with a lot of different teams because he can play off the ball or on the ball. And he's a very proficient scorer. It's not like it takes him 30 shots to get 35 points. But we'll see what happens in the offseason. Peace.